Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. So nice to see all of you. We still have the sun shining here in the fall. I'm Janice Kloosterman, and I have been part of this center for over 15 years now. So I feel like I'm not a newbie anymore here. So if we can start this morning with our morning affirmation. It's in the insert of your book, your pamphlet. Joyously, I enter into the good of this day. I celebrate and rejoice knowing that God is good, life is good, and I am good. I move into the act of speak from the state and the grace of loving kindness towards all. And so it is. Today, I have my niece, Jasmine Butcher, who's going to open up with a couple songs for us. She's from Bentley, and she came here before, and she does a great job. So join me in welcoming Jasmine.
Thanks, guys. All right, so normally I play a really, really happy song to start with, but it is Remembrance Day, and I'm really, really thankful that our country's free because of the soldiers that fought. So I'm going to be playing Traveling Soldier by the Dixie Chicks.
Everybody like to stand and
Yeah. 2 days. Oh, sorry. 2 days past 18, he was waiting for the bus in his army green, sat down at a booth. A cafe there gave his order to a girl with the bow in her hair. He's a little shy, so she give him a smile, and he said, would you mind sitting down for a while and talking to me? I'm feeling a little low. She said, I'm off in an hour and I know where we can go. So they went down and they sat on the pier. He said, I bet you got a boyfriend, but I don't care. I've got no one to send a letter to. Would you mind if I sent one back here to you? I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter says a soldier's coming home. So the letters came from an army camp in California, then Vietnam, and he told her of his heart. It might be love and all of the things he was so scared of. He said, when it's getting kinda rough over here, I think of that day sitting down at the pier, and I close my eyes and see your pretty smile. Don't worry, but I won't be able to write for a while. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Would you bow your heads for a list of local Vietnam dead? Crying all alone under the stands was a piccolo player and a marching band and one named Red, and nobody really cared but a pretty little girl with a bow in her hair. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter says a soldier's coming. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy. Too young for him, they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. Our love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again. Never more to be alone when the letter says a soldier's coming home. Thank you. All right, guys, on to a little bit of a happier song. Do you guys know Wagon Wheel by Darius Rucker?
Yeah.
Anybody? Yeah? Well, feel free to sing along. Heading down south to the land of the pines, I'm thumbing my way into North Carolina. Stand up the road and pray to God I see headlights. Made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers. And I'm hoping for Holly I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Run from the cold up in New England. I was born to be a fiddler in an old town string band. My baby plays the guitar, I pick a banjo now. Oh, North Country winters keep getting me down. Lost my money playing poker, so I had to leave town. But I ain't turning back to living that old life no more. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Walking to the south, out of Roanoke, caught a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long toker, but he's a heading west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee. I gotta get a move on before the sun. I hear my baby calling my name, and I know that she's the only one. And if I die in Raleigh, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Oh, rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Oh, rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Oh, oh, I wanna feel. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for the happy song, the second one too. First one was excellent, it was a little teary. You know? So it's nice to have the pickup song after. So it's our growing circles, and I think our growing circle girl already went, didn't she? Perfect. But I think the word is, or the sentence is great today. It is, growing up is overrated. So, I think we should all join in and say it. Growing up is overrated. And embrace our inner child. Today, Penny has graciously agreed to read The Science of Mind. And I have the October one, so you just get to pick whatever day you would like.
Okay. This is the page I opened up to, so hopefully it speaks to you. For God's sake, there's no price for happiness. There's no price for love. Up goes the price of living, and you're right back where you was. For God's sake, why don't you give more power to the people? And the Chi-Lites, 1971. I'm not familiar with them, but anyway. During the 1960s and 70s, many of us protested, gestured, and proclaimed power for the people. The Black Panthers' branding included a raised, clenched fist and a declaration of all power to the people. From 1966 to 1982, the Black Panthers' work in the communities of Oakland, California, bore irrefutable evidence of their dedication to the people. Specifically, their social programs, including free breakfast for children, education endeavors, and community health clinics, demonstrated their commitment to the self-sufficiency of our most vulnerable youth and adults. Their social activism promoted community, provoked awareness, and empowered resilience. There was even a diverse soundtrack to support this intention and vision. I recall seeing a photo of John Lennon with his fist raised promoting his Power to the People song. He said he wrote it as something for the people to sing. James Brown sang Power to the People, People Power. Public Enemy chanted Power to the People, 'cause the people want peace. We even used this slogan to protest the war in Vietnam. During the politically charged 1968 Olympics, we witnessed athletes Tommy Smith and John Carlos with one raised black gloved fist while the national anthem played. Throughout the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa, supporters worldwide called for power for the people. And when Nelson Mandela toured the U.S., we celebrated his freedom. Even today, we still have good reason to advocate for the people's highest and best. We are called to do this by protecting our planet's resources, standing for women's rights, supporting universal access to health care, demanding food and housing security, defending voting rights, and advocating equality for all. During this divisive time, there are those of us who believe, and I pray you will join us in declaring we've got to give more power to the people.
Wow, that was perfect for Remembrance Day. Wow. And about music, thank you, Kenny. Wow.
Perfect page. And now Linda is doing a course.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, hear me now? Linda will talk a little bit about the course that she's going to do in November.
So hi, I'm Linda Conley. I am a licensed practitioner with Science of Mind. So on November 27th, I'm going to do a workshop called Stress for Success, which sounds kind of wonky, right? Because we've all heard of stress and the negative effects of stress. Well, during the workshop, we're going to learn about the different kinds of stress, how they show up in you, in me, because it's different. We're all different. So how does it affect stress, the different kinds showing up affect our quality of life, our health, our overall well-being? And when I was studying, I was quite surprised because there was a couple I didn't know, and then I realized how they were actually showing up in me and how it was affecting my quality of life. So what we will be doing during those 2 hours is we'll be exploring the different kinds, how they show up for you in your body, and how it affects your overall quality of life. And of course, we'll finish with how we can move through them, release it, and actually have an improved health, improved quality of life. For me, it gave me actually grace for myself, grace within me. So please, if that calls to you, come join me November 27th.
And how much is it?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. Do you want to ask it out? A love offering?
We'll do a love offering. That sounds about right. Oh, there is a sign-up sheet out in the hall.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Well, Dave, you might want to be doing that because you'll be going through the
You really,
smoking stress, right?
Soon as you mentioned stress, I started to cough.
It choked you right up, huh?
And now it's time to introduce our beautiful speaker, who is a mentor to all of us and has inspired each and every one of us in different ways from the beginning, from when I first met Joanne till now. It has never changed. It's beautiful, it's love, it's true authenticity, and it's an honor to know you, and I will introduce. Join me in welcoming Joanne.
I always say every week, okay, this week I'm not going to cry. I already cried. Haven't even been up yet. Oh. Good morning, beautiful. Oh, thanks, Donna. And I say good morning, beautiful, and ask for it back because you can only see it in me if you see it in yourself. So thank you very much for seeing it in me and in you. Thank you for remembering to turn your clocks back and for coming in today. And thank you for the gift of your presence. It's an honor and a pleasure to talk to you today about how important it is to remember. Next week, I'll talk a little bit more about Remembrance Day. But this whole month, I want to talk about remembering who we are. Reverend Tress is going to talk on the 19th. I don't know what she's going to talk about, but it'll be memorable. The 17th. Oh, don't come the 19th. And what was your talk title?
It's written on a piece
It's about blessings. Okay. So now I invite you to join me in an opening affirmative prayer by settling into the chair and surrendering your body to the chair. In total confidence, your chair is supported by the building, and the building is supported by our home, Mother Earth. You are supported by Mother Earth. Take a couple of deep cleansing breaths and bring your awareness into your heart and into this room. Call all your thoughts back, thoughts of yesterday and this afternoon and tomorrow. Bring your awareness into this room and into your heart. And just be open to a greater idea of life. Breathe in the essence that you are, that is God. Breathe in the life force that you are. As I affirm and know, there is only one Creator, one God, one believer, and I'm one with all of that. I believe in myself and others. I believe there is a power for good in the universe greater than I am, and I can use it. I believe the past is past. And I state this with conviction and determination as I feel any past resentments fall away into the void from which they came. All is well. As I release what no longer serves me, I feel a lightness. I feel a peace. I feel a joy enter my being, and I am enlightened. With great gratitude for this moment where anything and everything is possible, I let it go. I live in the faith and knowing that all is well. I release this into the law of mind, where it is already done, acted on, returned to me, multiplied and overflowing. I surrender and I remember. And together we say, and so it is. And in this quiet moment, let's take a moment to remember who we are. If I asked you one word, who are you? I don't want to know your gender, your job, your name. I want to know who you are at your heart. I'm love. And whoever you are at your heart, let's send that thought out to all those in our lives that have made a difference. Today I invite and ask you to hold this name in your heart, to hold a vision in your heart of Janet Afdanis as she works tirelessly through a healing journey. We can and do support her and hold her in the highest light and surround her with healing love. Thank you. David, could you bring Janice's drum up and just set it on this altar? So maybe on this side, right this side, then they'll see it when they look online. Anybody who's watching this, whatever day you're watching this, let's hold Janet in our hearts. So today isn't my day. I just happen to be here. Today's the day that we learn about surrendering to a power greater than we are. Whether we call it God, Creator, Buddha, Allah, it's all one and it's all us. Today we're going to celebrate that. And we celebrate Jasmine. And we celebrate Janet. And the words I speak are truly one truth. Do you ever read a whole bunch of self-help books and realize there's only one truth? Every book tells you the same thing in different words. Well, guess what? I met a lady here, her name's Ursula. And she writes songs. And she wrote this song called Oh My Lord. And so I listened to it. And it never left me. It became a part of me. Then she tells me, guess what? I'm writing a book about my songs. I wrote songs, and then I wrote a book about my songs. And today sounds like a great day to really embrace and honor Ursula because her song is about being a spiritual warrior. And when we talk about wars and we talk about soldiers coming home, I think about warriors. And a warrior definition is a wise one. So soldiers in the ancient days and in the Bible were chose because of their wisdom, their ability to find peace. So through my talk, I will tell you some of the things that Ursula wrote in her book. I got it here backwards. It's called Diving Deep, a Spiritual Warrior's Healing Journey. So, as I was reading it, I was thinking, holy smokes, that's truth, because that's what we teach. I'm just going to read you 3 paragraphs. Every challenge that occurs in your life is aligned with your spiritual growth and development. You get essentially what you need. Challenges should be perceived as opportunities to learn life lessons, to strengthen, transform, and empower you, and unlock negative subconscious programming. Challenges and hardships are inevitable and unavoidable part of life. But once you've extracted the lessons, it's time to progress forward. With the growth and wisdom gained, the challenges lessen, and when presented, become easier to navigate through. She goes on to say, so accept the challenges, embrace and trust divine guidance. Commit to working on your life and spiritual well-being, and use your free will to make empowered choices. Thank you, Ursula. And when I read it, I knew it was truth, because I already knew this. Every one of us here, everything I said, you are thinking to yourself, yeah, I know that. I know that. And that's why Ursula and Floyd, when they came, she felt like, I'm home. People understand? Okay. Did I make you cry? I hope so. Okay, it was worth it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your vulnerability with me. And now I'm going to go back to my talk. If you notice at the end of my talk, I talked about, I released this into the law of mind. And this might be new for some people. And for some of us, we know what the law of mind is, but we forget that it works 100% of the time. So the law of mind is similar to the law of gravity. The law of gravity says what goes up must come down. The law of mind says it is done unto you as you believe. So there you have it. It's no great secret, just simply it's done unto you as you believe. And there's so many New Thought authors that have spoken that in different ways. Wayne Dyer says, change your thinking, change your life. Well, today, the one thing you can do is change your thinking. Change how you think about your past. And I want you to know that surrender is not a bad word. Surrender is a form of acceptance. And not accepting that this is your lot in life, but accepting that you get to choose how you react to your life. And you know, we've been told so many times, just let your past lie, and you can say it as many times as you want. I'm telling you, I've let my past go at least 1,042 times. But anytime a song comes on, or a certain face shows up, or somebody talks about something that I experienced in my past, it's just like they rub a sore, or they rub a scar. That's what it is. So every time they rub that scar, the story goes back in my mind until I surrender and rewrite that story. And do you know what happens when you keep going back to your old story? It starts shutting the door from your greater good. You're not going to grow until you can let go of your past. So Ernest Holmes says, and I'm going to quote some Bible, some Ernest Holmes, a whole bunch of people. I already quoted Ursula, and I take no credit for it because I'm a conduit for all the information that's out there. And what I'm saying today is something that's relevant to me, and I pray, and it's my intention that it's relevant to one more person. Ernest Holmes says, have no fear of tomorrow, enjoy today. And I love this phrase. He says, refuse to carry the corpse of a mistaken yesterday. Refuse to carry the corpse of a mistaken yesterday. What a wonderful affirmation to remember to surrender. You know, it's necessary that we remember that we live in two worlds. We talk about that. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. Ernest Holmes talks about it as two worlds. He says there's this invisible world where you think and where you create from, and then there's a visible world, they call it the world of effects, where everything's manifested. From here to here, from here through here to here. So the whole world of effect is the result of a manifestation of your ideas. So to change our world, if something's not good in your life, you're not going to change it there. You know, I don't want to use my kids. They won't know. You know, sometimes if you have a daughter, I love her to death, but sometimes she just like ticks me off. And I have to keep going back to this invisible world where I love her unconditionally and not look at what's creating in her life. And I constantly, she says to me, why is this or why is that? And I said, I don't know. One thing I do remember, like right now she's sick in bed. She just came back from Vegas. And when she was in Vegas, she texts me and she says, oh my gosh, I am so tired. I need a rest. So she comes home and she doesn't get a day's rest. She got 6 days rest. And she says, why did I get so sick? I said, I don't know. I wonder if it has something to do with you saying, I really need a rest. And now she's got one. And this isn't in my talk, but I remember reading this somewhere or in a course that said there's a difference between being tired and being exhausted. When you're tired, it's because you've done something you like doing and it made you tired. And I think she forgot that she had a lot of fun in Vegas. I had a lot of fun with my grandkids. I was pretty tired too. But when you say tired, but your mind is thinking exhausted comes from doing something that you don't want to do. If you do something that somebody makes you do, you'll know what it's like to be exhausted. So that was just one example of me telling her, you have to be careful what you ask for. you'll get it 100% of the time. And so that brings me to the gist of my talk today. You know, I was thinking about turning the clock back. Isn't it amazing how you can just like David got up on a ladder, turn that thing back an hour? Why can't we do that with life? How much of our resentment and anger could we eliminate if we could turn our clock back to an hour before you said something you didn't mean, an hour before you got in the car and drove too fast and got a speeding ticket, an hour before something that changed your life? Now, there's two reasons I wanted to talk about that, and one of them is about physical healing. You see, Dr. Mark Waldman, in our Teaching for Ministry, he has this book called The Body-Mind Connection. So he says, when you hurt yourself, like say you got a burn, the instant that happens, all you think about is the burn, the burn, the burn, the burn. He says, if we can program our minds to go back to the instant before that injury happened, what were you doing? Were you happy? Were you creating? Were the cupcakes looking beautiful? And what kind of icing are you going to make? He says you can program your mind to go back to before the injury. The injury is still there. But when you stop focusing on it, your body can start healing it. The whole time you're focusing on it, your body's focusing on what you're thinking, not what you're saying. And I've practiced that. I hope you take this home one time and practice that. Because I've done that. You know, I'll cut myself, or I'll tell you about one time I fell getting out of my car. And it was slippery, and I just hit my head, and I was laying there, and I was thinking, what were you doing just before you hit your head? You were listening to John Prine in the car, and you're just rocking away. And I laid there and started thinking about that John Prine song, and this wave came over me, and that's who I was. I was who I was before I fell. And I got up, and I felt so good. And it really spoke to me about what a friggin' amazing world we live in, that we can turn that clock back. So I remembered to surrender to that pain and let it go. And I think it's the greatest gift you can give yourself. Because as soon as you surrender to the past, you lose the energy and the vibration that's been part of your experience around that person or event. And I really thought that turning the clock back for me was so metaphoric. Because I think I'm going to do that more often. I think I'm going to turn that clock back for an hour to before I did something that I wish I didn't do, and how peaceful, enthusiastic I was before that happened, or how hopeful I was before that fateful day. Because the other thing about remembering what's happening right now, we always talk about being in the moment, but when do we let go of those moments? One thing about being something that happens in the moment is we lose our peace because we're not present. Do you know, the subconscious mind is called the seat of your memory. We have this file cabinet, and for some reason, the file cabinet loves to hold crappy things. It doesn't always hold all the joy and the light and the life. It just holds the things that stopped us from living our best life. Or if they hadn't have done that, I would have felt this. And if I hadn't have said that, I would have done this. Do you know that that file cabinet is always rifling through? Everything that happens in your life starts rifling through. When did you experience that before? And what was your reaction? 99% of the time, it's going to be not a great reaction. Everything is filtered through a judgment. And guess who is a judge? You are. You get to judge if that was something bad or something good. And so I already talked about Dr. Mark Waldman and his body healing. And, you know, the other thing he said was, everything's a relationship in body-mind healing. And every time you hurt yourself or you have an illness, you're having a relationship with it. So he says, why would we call it something tragic like, I'm having a gallbladder attack? Wow, that's setting you up for failure. He says, why don't you give it a name and not your ex-husband? But he says, you could just call it like Tim or something. And you can say, Tim, what do you need right now? And so, and it kind of takes the fear out of it. My sister has cancer, and she calls it John, because she always thinks of a John of something, a Dear John letter. So she's constantly writing Dear John letters to her cancer. And so when she says, John's acting up today, it was really comforting for us to know that she has a relationship with it. Or, John's been really good today. I just told her, don't marry that John, because he's probably not the best John in your life. But I really liked how he said that, to have that relationship. And all of those things will take you to surrender. So if you're having an illness, one way to surrender is to give it a name, to have a relationship with it, to ask it what it needs. And one way to get over a pain and an injury is to turn your mind back to the instant before that injury happened, and who were you at that moment, and go back to there and take that with you as you heal. And if it's something really grave, grab your clock. Oh yeah, you can't do it on your phone so much, but just the visualization of turning that clock back an hour. What would you do if you had that hour back? In Isaiah it says, remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing now. It springs forth. Do not perceive it. I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Isn't that the truth? Every minute you're making something new. Behold, I'm doing a new thing now. And we can say that every instant of our life. I'm doing a new thing now. I was doing that before, but I'm doing a new thing now. And in Ephesians it says, let all bitterness and wrath and anger be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, and forgiving. Remember to surrender. And through the power of love, you can forgive all past history, because love heals and makes whole. Ernest Holmes has another really good phrase that says, never limit your view of life by past experiences. That is the whole thing about the cellular memory, eh? Never limit your view of life based on past experiences. And there's this little ditty by somebody named Barry, and that's Janet's last name, by the way, Janet Barry. Let me forget the hurt and pain found along the way. Let me remember kindness given day by day. I love that. Let me forget the hurt and pain I found along the way, and let me remember kindness given day by day. Because it's so much better to forgive and forget than to resent and remember. I also read somewhere that said, your past, that's a place of reference, not a place of residence. You can go there, don't live there. And define yourself by who you are now. I really resonated with that reading Ursula's story. She called it a wounded warrior's journey to healing. She wasn't claiming she's a wounded warrior now. She's claiming she took that journey to healing. So define yourself by who you are now. I was thinking about defining myself as who I am now. It's almost like you put on clothes that you wore when you were 18 and they just don't fit anymore. So get them off because they're bursting at the seams and they don't fit your life anymore. So take off what no longer serves you. Get rid of all those old clothes and put on what fits you. Oh, and I wrote in here again about remember to surrender, something that Ursula sings about her spiritual journey. And she talked in there about how to surrender. She says whether it's to God or Creator, whatever, you call this higher power, just remember to surrender and how much it gave you. Every one of you here has had a spiritual awakening. Every single one of you are in here because you had a spiritual awakening. Holy smokes. I think if we asked, we would be all amazed at what we've overcome in our lives that brought us here with like-minded people, that we can talk about the weird stuff, the energy, the chakras, the healings, all those things that brought you to where you are today. We all had a great upheaval, I call it, because you transcended from that visible into the invisible world. And there's only a few things that I really did to help me move past the past. I'm a big believer in not telling your story over and over every time I get up here. And so I don't want to tell you know, that I grew up in a colorful home, on social services, pregnant at 15, on, and all the judgment that came from that. Because you know what? Those clothes don't fit me anymore. That was my past. And as soon as I could stop telling that story and look at it like it was invisible, just clear, I could look right through it. I could tell it, but I didn't carry it. I just walked right through it and I could tell it. You know, memories of events, every time you tell the story, they're happening again. They're happening in the present. Anger or hurt, if you talk about that, you still talk about hurt or anger. I shouldn't have said the word judgment, because right away I felt it deep inside. It's still happening. You think it happened when you were 15 or 12 or 8 or 10? If you're still in the story, it's happening right now. It's still happening. So memories are not the problem, because memories are a thought. And a thought has no power unless you give it power. Thoughts are things that happened a long, long time ago. And you have an emotional reaction to them every time you tell the story. And I love to be a storyteller. We're told to be storytellers up here. And we're even told to tell our personal story. What the heck? Now the more I study, it's saying don't tell your story anymore, because then you're living there. I want to be free of the past. I want to lose all those sticky thoughts that are still stuck to me, because they don't serve me. You know, healing doesn't mean you're surrendering. It just means you're neutralizing what happened in your life, and you're accepting that it has no power over you. I wondered how they felt when they were waving their white flag after the war. It was seen as a sign of weakness, but really, it was a sign of power. I'm taking my freedom back. I'm not giving you my power. I'm taking my freedom back. And that's what it is for us too. When you surrender, you're not giving anybody anything. You're giving yourself your freedom back. And if the greatest thing you can do is remember to surrender, you can step back an hour. You can step back an instant. You can step back 50 years. It's up to you. Wherever you are, surrender whatever happened 50 years ago, 5 minutes ago, or an hour ago. Because once you see that the ball is in your court, you set the stage for deep, deep surrendering. And your happiness is only your responsibility. Nobody else can give it to you. You already know what it feels like to be a victim. That's why you came to this center. That's why you went to an organized religion, because you already knew what it felt like to be a victim. Now, do you know what it feels like to be a winner, a warrior, a power for good in the universe? We don't want to recycle those negative memories that are stuck on you and wear those clothes that don't fit anymore. So turn your mind back to a greater time. Tell stories about the past from an invisible shield that you can walk right through, and you tell that story and you're totally protected. It doesn't become you. And notice how entranced people can be in your story. People love your stories and drama. So make them a story. Don't make them your truth. Let yourself lose interest in your stories. That's freedom. No attention to your story. Experience is appearing and disappearing right before your eyes. You're changing. You're clear. You're understood. Besides getting stuck in the story, you might become aware of beliefs that hold what you need to happen, because your life begins now, in this very moment. Right here, right now, this is the beginning. Now. You can always start new. Don't feed those limiting thoughts, and you won't need them to disappear. Discover who you were when you were not whole, and know that you're whole now. That part of you now has never been touched by drama, by anger, or by hate. That part of you has always been untouched by the visible world. And unless you see through it, you're a product of your past. In Hindu, they talk about the middle path. In Buddhism, they talk about the middle way. And it's not about being a martyr. It's not about being a victim. It's about walking the path and knowing whoever you were as a martyr or a victim. We've all played those roles. They're not who you are. I asked you who you were in the beginning, and I said, I was love. I want to know who you are. Janice, who are you? Janice says, I am peace. Carmen, who are you? I am love. Edith?
Joy and harmony.
Joy and harmony. Donna? Joy and kindness. Ursula? Love. Floyd? Love. Diane? Peaceful and purposeful. Cole? He's not sure. Nice to be young. You can be anything you want. Linda? Compassion. Arnold? Loving. Ruth? Loving. Audrey? Kind. Jasmine? Order? Supportive. Oh, I love that. Oh, Carrie? Light. What's your sister's name? I'm sorry. Cheryl. Kind. Susan? Joy. Penny? Love. Lurley? Love. Wendy? Grateful. Beth? Peaceful. Russell? Happiness. Love it. Tress? Aware. David? Honor. Oh, that's a good one for Remembrance Day. Nothing. Did you say honor? No? Okay. So in closing, I affirm and know that the love, kindness, support, honor, peace, compassion, grace in this room resonates through each and every one, for if it is in one of us, it is in all of us. In the silence of my thoughts, I find it. I find the peace, the perfect time and place where all is divine and filled with light. The one creator of all is the peace I am, the light I am, the power I am, the love I am. By stating I am, I bring my awareness back to the present moment and release the past. I remember to surrender what no longer serves me, and I express gratitude for the lessons in my life. I let this go into the law of mind. All is as it should be. I am as I should be, and so it is. As you remember to surrender, you can live as the awareness that you are, fully alive, here, not in conflict with anything, Know who you are. Know those words that you are. Remember who you are. And the pain of the past will be barely a ripple. You are vast universe. And so it is.